Anyway, my computer bit the dust, so I'm going to continue the audio from here. Eric says, Ellie, take this. And it's a box of cocaine. No, it's not. Received army keycard. Ellie says, Father. Oh, god damn it. Alright. Eric says, to be human is to be able to pick your own path in life. Ellie says, Father. Eric says, it looks like the military police are here. Eric says, the Imperial Guard. Why are you here instead of the military police? Ellie says, what? Eric says, what are you doing? The intruder fled. My daughter has nothing to do with this. I can't, Lord Eric, says this person. Turn your daughter over to us, Lord Krellion's orders. Eric says, Lord Krellion, what does he want with my daughter? You mean Gazelle? The person in red says, you do not need to know. Take her. Eric says, leave my daughter alone or else. Ellie says, Father. The person in red says, Lord Eric, have you lost your mind? Eric says, I'm perfectly fine. Leave her alone. Lord Krellion orders are the Emperor's orders, says the person in red. You realize what'll happen to your rank if you disobey this order. You'll be demoted to third-class citizen. Eric says, I know, but even if it's Lord Krellion's order, I will not allow my daughter to be Gazelle's test subject. Ellie, go. I'll take care of this. Ellie says, but... Eric says, don't worry about me. Go help Faye. Ellie says, Father. And runs out. Ellie says, Father, Mother. Faye says, Ellie. Seitan says, the Ministry. Ellie says, the Ministry? Father said that too. What is the Ministry? Seitan says, you'll find out. Faye says, let's go back. We gotta save him. Ellie says, we can't. If you go now, they'll catch you too. My parents will be fine. Their military records should protect them. If necessary, I'll turn myself in after everyone is rescued, and that'll settle it. Faye says, but... Ellie says, let's go. Something might happen to them while we're just talking here. Seitan says, I'm worried for Ellie's family, but her father risked his life to get us this card. We must go on. Faye says, yeah. Seitan says, but in this filthy place, spare me. What I would not give for my old bathtub now. Do you not agree, Faye? And Faye and Ellie laugh because they just had that awesome shower. Faye says, okay, let's go. And they go in the thingy. Or not. I guess I have to push the button. Whee! Oh my. Faye says it hurts, damn it. Yeah, that didn't look pleasant. My. Anyway. I'm climbing up some ladders, baby. I think this is a glitch, because like I touch them and then I just appear up them. How fancy. Thankfully I didn't corrupt my save state. That would have really blown titties. Well, apparently I can't do that. Maybe this is the control box. Oh, I guess I can maybe push that in there and break the fan. How sweet. And we fall down the chute. And into that thingy. Faye says, woo! We barely escaped from getting trashed. Isn't that the room I was already in? I guess maybe I have to go down like the steps and not jump down there. Okie dokie. Oh, there's people in here. dokie. Okie dokie. Looks like I need to fall, like, maybe in a specific way. There we go. Okay, so I just fall down there if I get on the ladder. Okie dokie. And we are just roaming through these catacombs, I guess. I found a steak sitting in a treasure chest. Oh my. I must have this free item. Aquasol DX. Better than nothing. Is this a door? Faye says, wow, there's some food here. Faye says, let's have a bite. Ellie says, you're right. We don't know what'll happen, so we shouldn't ask too much. Faye says, what about you, Doc? Citan says, no, I'm fine, thanks. Faye says, are you sure? Then excuse us. Faye and Ellie say, let's eat. And apparently they eat whatever's in that can. Faye says, well then, let's go. Faye says, is this what we ate earlier? Ellie says, I see. The medicine we normally use is made here. Oh boy. Sounds a little sketchy. Received a hob steak. Alrighty. Who knows what this place is? Input code. Oh, probably need to like find whatever that is. Oh, apparently entering nothing got me this item. Received a gold nugget. Okay. Let's try. So sneaky. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Foreign object discharged. Oh, okay. Faye says we can't go forward. Citan says the control room should have been over there. If you turn off the detector, you'll be able to move forward. Okay. My. I got kicked out on that side now. Jeez, how much life does this thing have? Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Foreign object scanner off. Okie dokie. Whee. Oh, cool, that worked. Oh, now we can see the meat. Ellie says, I wonder what kind of meat this is. Faye says, yeah, I don't want to see where they make it. Citan says, wait, Faye. You ate that food. Consider that fact when you open that door. Ellie says, what about that canned food? Faye says, what is it? What's supposed to be? Exactly. Citan says, see for yourselves. Yikes. Faye says, oh no, Ellie says, you must be kidding. Faye says, what is this? What the hell? Whoa! Citan says, Soylent System, the organism experiment lab and its disposal facility in Solaris, and the production facility for food and medicine to maintain the limiter seal. Aquavi's Wells Reapers were also made here. Citan says, Ellie, do you remember Dominia's words during our infiltration of Shivat? Here's the answer. People of her native country served as one of the origins for Wells, the M-Plan. They were used that way because of their peculiar abilities. She's the last survivor. Ellie, your father, Eric, used to be the superintendent of this facility. He was involved in the research with Maria's father. Ellie says, don't be ridiculous. My father'd never take part in such a thing. Citan says, naturally, Eric always had pangs of guilt, so he kept as many land dwellers as possible under his protection as third-class citizens. Then he resigned. That's why he's on the administrative staff of the Special Forces now. Ellie says, my father did that? It can't be true. Citan says, get up, Faye. Get up and look it over. Faye said, could this be true, Doc? Citan says, this is reality. Let's go. Yowza. Got a Zeta Saw. Man. Apparently I can't turn that off, so whatever. Citan says, to end a person's life and then consume their flesh, is that permissible? Guess we're going up. If memory serves, this place is a nightmare. Alrighty. Let's see. Ugh. Really? We're gonna go this way. Okie dokie. Oh, was that the place I was just at? Dang it. Okay, I'm just gonna say I already... Wow. Whatever. Huh. Maybe this way then. Looks like I got an Aquasol DX. Really? Like, how is he not learning his ability yet? Keiki is triangle, square, triangle, X. He just needs to be level 59. Whatever. And I guess I'm in whatever this room is. Is that a switch? Oh. Ellie says, what is that thing? A gear? Ellie says, no, the surface of the armor isn't segmented. It's the same as Bart's gear on Dvari and the gear we saw in Shivat. It's an Omnigear. Faye says, this thing's huge. Ellie says, yeah, it's gotta be around 3 times as powerful as our gears. Citan says, this is Solaris Omnigear. Yowzas. They got some stuff. Got some tricks and treats. Is that the way I came in? I don't know. Ugh, for fuck's sake. Already in there. Oh man. Alrighty. Let me out, fucker. Looks like I'm in here with these weirdos. Yo, long time, says Green Person. It's me, the one that owned the dog in Kislev. I may look like this, but the dog's doing fine. Please don't think about letting me out, even though I'm still conscious. Eventually, I'll turn into something bad, probably. You opened it. I told you not to open it. Rawr. My mind. My mind. My dog, please take care of him. It's very sad. What did I do? Lock it again? Received a muscle belt. This guy says, help me. My body. Received some hob meats. That is controlled. Elevator is locked, okay. Yowza. Looks like the creepy experimentation continues. Received a robe. Oh, nice. Evade, ether defense, and defense. It's pretty cool. Got an eyeball. And another hob steak. That looks like it was locked. I don't think there's anything else in here. Okay. Oh, I can go this way. Didn't expect that. What the fuck? this, like, chair thing you can't get off. There we go. I got eyeball, apparently. Oh. There's two little rooms, like, right next to each other. Extra armor 6. Nuggets. And top meat. Let's check this. Let's see. Aquasol DX. Alright. Of course. Security system off. Alrighty. Wasn't that just like one of the rooms I couldn't go through before? Whatever. Let's see. Really? I can fall off the freaking thing. And I guess I go this way maybe? seriously? Huh. Guess I missed something. Oh my god. Let's see. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. in the sewers. You seem to have taken good care of my brother. Oh my. Ooh. Got an ether veiler and a death blower 3. Well, that's worth it. Oh, nothing else in here, I guess. Let's maybe cure up. Okie dokie. Well, well, well. I don't know, maybe I should just equip those death blowers. There we go. Let's see here. There's a console for inputting the password. confirmed. Well, I probably wasn't supposed to go that way first. Oh, god damn it. shitting me with that? Wow. Of course. Let's check this first then. Faye says, "What is this place?" Ellie says, "Holograms of us." Faye says, "Why are there holograms of us in a Solaris place?" Ellie, ether response, infinite, anima alignment, infinite, possible antitype, approval for retrieval and necessary analysis granted. Oh, that's interesting. Fei Fong Wong, ether and anima is infinite, comments is contact, immediate disposal is desired. Satan, otherwise known as Hyuga, ether response 240, animus, alignment 98, no comments. It's kind of interesting. Billy, ether 290, anima 92, comments schedule for animus adjustments. For Bart, it says, upon Dan Anima's retrieval, schedule for adjustment. Ether 210, Anima 90. Huh. Rico says, test mixture number, Ether 160, Anima 85. Comments, Created by the Ethos as an experiment, used by the Kislev Battling Association to measure battle potential. Data has been transferred. Schedule for adjustment. Emeralda. Either response not applicable. Anima none. Comments. Nanomachine colony. Data analysis complete. Annul and dispose. Oh, got the same one on accident. Choo-choo, primitive animal, comments unusable, dispose. Funny. Maria, she's unusable. But they don't want to dispose of her for some reason. They should. I don't like her. Faye says this one won't open. Citan says this way. Faye says, Doc, wait. What's this facility for? Citan says, this place was not meant to be seen since the origin of time. This facility centers around the Emperor and the Ministry's longevity experiment. Faye says, the origin of time. Citan says, yes, 10,000 years ago, beings called humans were born here. The first were the Emperor and the Ministry's elders. Ellie says, how could a human live 10,000 years? Citan says, now only the Emperor is left. His destiny is to never die. Moreover, the Ministry is different. Once during the Diabolos invasion, the Ministry elders died, losing their bodies. Now the Solaris governing Ministry exists as data in memory banks. Each of their personalities are bits of data. Faye says, it's the data on the memory bank? Citan says, having neither flesh nor souls, they are just binary numbers. They both exist and do not exist at the same time. Citan says, after the fall, wanting to resurrect their bodies and create a worthy vessel, they transferred a research facility that was once the Soylent system on the land to Etronak. Eventually, the facility was no longer only for the Emperor's life and the Ministry's resurrection, but it began producing food and drugs with additives that controlled the public. The memory cube Faye and them were using was meant for obtaining living data. Of course, the Ethos also sent various data to help as well. Faye says, that means we were living for those elderly people of Gazelle? Citan says yes. Ellie says they're transferring and taking living data via memory cubes to the Ministry so they can use them to resurrect their bodies? Citan says yes. Faye says, you mean those mutants getting disassembled at that factory were too? Citan says, basically they wish to reuse the useless dregs. Faye says, that's horrid. How could they? Ellie says, hold on, Faye, something's not right. Citan, how would you know that? Not even the government or the army know such things. Faye says, what? Ellie says, come to think of it, it seems like we took the long way here on purpose. There must have been a faster way to Barton them. Also, the route to get to this block can't even be downloaded on the map. So how did he know what streets we were on? Faye says, Doc, didn't you also find out? Ellie cuts him off and says, that's impossible. First of all, that partition we took to get into this block, that panel was displayed to be a P4 facility. Even a high-ranking officer of Solaris can't get in here. You think they'd leave a facility like that unlocked and open? Ellie continues, and how could you open it? Who exactly are you? Faye says, wait a minute, it could have been luck. Ellie says, something's wrong. You were able to get into Solaris under martial law, sneak into the palace, get through a P4 level door, and even learn the purpose of the facility. How is that possible? Ellie says, even father, I'm sure it was possible you were in Solaris then. Ellie says, even Jesse, who was also in Solaris, didn't know the motive behind the M project, so Citan, why do you know even more details than Maria? Something's not right, I know it. Faye says, Ellie? Ellie says, I'm not done. I should have noticed sooner, Citan. Who are you? And everything goes black. Faye says, what? Hey, are you okay, Ellie? Ellie! Doc! Citan! Damn, they got us. Ellie, Citan, where are you? Faye says, Ellie. Doc, are you there? And all these weird TVs turn on. Faye just keeps saying incoherent garbage. Faye says, this is... What is this? Why are you showing me this? Who did this? Ellie, Doc, where are you? You brought about this spectacle. That voice is the one which haunts you. Cursed, untouchable one. O God's beloved child, those who prevent our prayers. Get, destroy, burn with God's fire. Faye says, what? Doctor? These guys, what is this? Faye says, Bart? Billy? Doc, what's going on? What are you all? Doc, answer me. One of the elders says, one of the Solaris guardian angels is here, Hyuga Ricto. This man is Cain, receiving the orders from the one known as Emperor. You've entered his realm and have been under his continued supervision. Faye says, Solaris guardian angel monitoring me. Elder says, oh yes, we've guided Solaris and even selected the Animus which have been drawn to you, and guided you here to Solaris. The Animus is needed for our resurrection. These are our bodies, this is what we possess. The Elder says, yes, this is the only reason we exist. Faye says, the bodies of Bart and the others belong to you. Is that true, Doctor? What are they saying? The Elder says, why are you so apprehensive? Is it that you were sold out by the one you trusted? Faye says, I'm not talking to you. Doctor, answer me. Citan says, 3 years. Faye doesn't know what's going on. Citan says, for 3 years I've been by your side. I had to determine whether you were going to be our enemy or not. Faye says, revenge? The Elder says, yes, the enemy. Your existence is a threat to us. It was necessary to keep an eye on you. The one who ordered you to be watched was Cain. We were planning on the maturation of the Animus and your termination. We also sent Hyuga to you. However, every attempt to terminate you has failed. Because of that good-for-nothing trash, even so, we now possess Animus. Hyuga has fulfilled his duties well. Faye says, is that it? You were in with these guys? That's why you, everyone? Why? You've had your way all this time with us land dwellers. You already own the world. What more do you want, says Faye. The Elder says, you must know by now that we plan to resurrect God. God will awaken from his long slumber after man has populated the land. Then Mahanan will too awaken. Faye says, Ariel, Paradise, Mahanan? The place fell to earth. The Elder says paradise and laughs. That may be a proper description. Our ark. In the center block, Lord Mahanan is sealed in. That is the source of God's wisdom, a paradise of knowledge. Using that knowledge, we will resurrect the awakened God and build our ark to take us both into the great universe. The construction of our ark to reign over God's forces in this great universe, the creation of the angel Malik. The M project was for that very purpose. Faye says, what do you mean? The Elder says, we are orphans in this universe. We were thrown away onto this planet in solitude along with God. We humans were not born on this planet. Long ago we came here from another heavenly body. We are beings from an alien planet. Faye says, that's ridiculous. The Elder continues, this is true. You have seen the various regions of this world. Why do you think there are no records of humans before 10,000 years ago? The Elder continues, this is the will of God. The God's revival has been fated since before the time before Genesis. We will be the one with God. Attaining a new Animus, we will once again return to the starry skies. That is the meaning of our existence. That is our supreme objective. Faye says, so you're not planning on using Solaris power to dominate the world? The Elder says, of course. What meaning is there in having control of a planet as insignificant as this? God has given us the right to rule over the universe. Yes, only we, who do not carry impure blood, have the right to a pardon. The elder continues, so we will resurrect God. It's been an eternity since our exile from paradise. If the time of God's revival does not come, we will have to follow the path to destruction. But, having attained Animus, our resurrection is near. Next is God's resurrection. Faye says, Krellian? Krellian says, this one only waits for the awakening. Faye says, Ellie? Ellie says, where am I? Krellian says, I've looked into your records. Ellie says, Krellian? Commander? Krellian says, Eliam Van Houten, that incident at Jugend 1 year ago, Case 102, the release of your latent powers from that systematic administration of mental enhancement drugs. In that instant, your ether value had increased beyond 400, and in that moment, 2 were critically wounded and 3 required recycling. Am I right? Ellie says, please stop. Krellian says, but this record is wrong. This wasn't the usual uncontrollable mental side effects. This was caused by the awakening of your other inner self. Ellie says, my other self? Where's Faye? Where's everyone? Krellian says they'll be used as an offering for the resurrection of the Gazelle Ministry. The same fate awaits that girl, the artificial organism. I've already taken enough samples from her. I'm already well into the 4th stage of my plan. All I need now is the final factor. Hence, your friends are no longer of any use to me. They're worthless. But you are different. Ellie says you're planning on sending them to the same fate as those people in that research facility? Doing all this for your own selfish ambitions. Do you know what you're doing? I'll be right back. Phew, sorry about that. Allergies have been very mean today. Anyway, Ellie continues, doing all this for your own selfish ambitions. Do you know what you're doing? People playing with other people's lives, that's deplorable. Krellian says, I see, so you've seen the research facility. Presently, the Solaris researchers are working on genetic engineering down there. It's just a nest for fools who have learned the despicable pleasure of playing with their own organic creations. They seek only serendipity and inhumanity. Krellian says, that's not my place. I specialize in molecular engineering, rather nanotechnology. He says, do you know what this is? A nanomachine. A molecular machine. This is the assembler, which is one of those nanomachine machines. It can break down molecules and atoms and reconstruct it into anything. Each of these spheres are equivalent to an atom. Until recently, we were only able to produce materials which were several times the size of this. Thanks to that girl, the one we obtained from the ruins of the Zaboim civilization, we are now able to make it this compact and elaborate. To think that such a mechanism was created 4,000 years ago, it's quite astonishing. Up until we discovered this, the work was rather crude. The best we could possibly do until now was to apply amino acid solutions to wounded areas for amelioration or to seal up any peculiar abilities. I'm sure you've had some exposure to genetics when you were in the jug end. Each type of these enzymes inside the DNA are also molecular machines that were created by nature. That is, if we are indeed the progeny of the very first organism. Ellie says, what do you think of accomplishing by using that molecular machine? What connection do I have with it? Krellian says, although the nanomachines up until now could recombine DNA, they couldn't uncover any information in the intron, which are located in the replacements of the double helix. However, the newer nanomachines easily discover this data that originally should not have existed, and we are about to see the results of that. Krellian continues, according to the transferred record, it depicts a similar wave frequency as expected. Krellian says, and yes, the Ouroboros ring, that is it, isn't it? Miang and Lacan's actions, this explains everything. Eliam, you are the mother. Ellie says, mother? Krellian says, yes, this is what your genetic exon looked like before replacement. This is the conceptualized form of the intron which carries information that isn't supposed to exist. Observe, this is the Ouroboros ring, which contains intron information which only exists in certain people. Ouroboros, if we're to anatomize such a thing, wouldn't you be interested in what type of information it would have to offer us? Ellie says nothing. Krellian says, Eliam, you are beautiful. When I look at you, I appreciate the artistic aspect of the human form, its elaborateness. I cannot help but feel the importance of that, as if my molecular machine is unworthy of you. You haven't changed since then, just like the other one, Lacan. I believe he's referring to Sophia. Faye says, ugh. Seitan asks if he's conscious. Faye says, Doc. Seitan says, it's impossible to move. This machine has physically cut your nerve signals. You will not be able to lift a finger regardless of what your mind says. Faye says, what are you going to do to me? To Bart and them. Where's Ellie? Seitan says, don't worry, they have their roles. You have yours. I simply investigate. Faye says, damn it. This, what was I? Seitan says, so the battle has been fought, you say? This was discussed earlier by the Ministry. Faye says, God damn it, we weren't born to be used by them. We didn't come all the way to Solaris for that. Everyone, we just want to make a place where we can belong. That's what we were fighting for. But now... Seitan says, it is much easier to be given a place to belong than to make one yourself. You do not even understand a simple concept like that. Faye says, only the true. Seitan cuts him off and says, childish ideals pale when placed before reality. But actually, many are satisfied with that. Being given one's place frees one from any risks. Misfortunes may be blamed on others. Do you know why people cannot exist alone, but only under some bigger concept, such as a group or country? People need a place to go to be themselves. The more stable it is, the more effective it is. Seitan continues, the Ministry gives them such a place. Under total surveillance, there is no need to bear the risk of maintaining one's own individuality. They simply live under the delusion of being an individual. What could be easier? Facts are facts, so let's just accept them. It will be easier for all of us. Resistance is futile. It only makes things painful. Faye says, Seitan cuts him off and says, do you still intend to do something about it? Look at yourself. What do you think you could possibly do at this stage? You cannot move. You couldn't even protect your friends who fought with you when they needed you. You could not even protect the most important person in your life, Ellie. Faye says, stop, please. Seitan says, you can do nothing. Faye says, quit it. Satan says, now we may take our time and talk, id. Meanwhile, in another place... it looks like Krellian lets Ramses, or Carr or whatever, into the room. Ellie says, Commander? What are you doing? Ramses says something incomprehensible. Ellie says, what? Ramses says, I'm asking you where. Ellie says, that hurts. Please stop. Ramses says, where is he? I know you know. Take me to him. Ellie says, who are you referring to? Are you talking about Faye? Ramses says, Faye, Faye, Faye. Faye this. Faye that. Faye. In what way is he more superior than I? I will not accept it. I will not. Ellie says, Ramses, that drug is a mental stabilizer. Why are you so shook up like that? What's forcing you to go through all this? What happened between you and Faye? Ramses says, damn it, Faye, I'll show you. And leaves the room. Ellie says, Ramses. And we cut elsewhere. Bart says, Faye, you're conscious? Now let's go. Faye says, you traitor, and attacks Doc. Bart says, stop, Faye. Faye says, don't stop, Bart. He betrayed us and Ellie. Bart says, stop, Faye. It's your mistake. Faye says, let go. Let me go. Billy says, calm down. Bart isn't lying. Satan is the one who helped us. Faye says, Billy? Bart says, listen carefully. That limiter is implanted in our bodies. Right now, this research facility is the only place where we can get them removed. Satan misled Krellian and the other guys and brought us in here to remove the limiter. Faye says, what? But Doc was just... Is that true? Bart says, yes. Faye says, Doc? Satan says, that is not the only reason why I brought you here. Those who want to become independent from Solaris must know the actual situation and its true form. Who is doing what and why? Ostensibly, I received a covert order from the Emperor to contact the body wanted by the Ministry and send the data, and if possible, bring the body back. That was my duty. As a result, I had no choice but to deceive you. Please forgive me. Faye says, I see how it is. Satan says, besides, I myself had a matter that had be verified in this facility. Faye says, for sure. Satan says, I'll tell you what after we escape from here. It is something you must know. Faye just seems like he doesn't know what's going on. Bart says, by the way, Satan, you did remove Faye's limiter, didn't you? Satan says, what? Yes, of course, that is... Bart says, alright then, let's get out of here. Faye says, wait, what happened to Ellie? Weren't you with her? Satan says, Ellie was taken to Krellian's research lab. It could not be stopped. I am sorry. Faye says, why only Ellie? Satan says, I do not know, but one thing bothers me. When Krellian took Ellie, I had a chance to acquire Ellie's cellular information. I analyzed it and found something very interesting. Excuse me, I mean unusual. There is no limiter implanted in her. Billy says there's no limiter. Isn't that because Ellie's from Solaris? Satan says even Solaris citizens have a limiter implanted when they're born. There are exceptions for certain people like myself and Ramses, whose limiters can be removed later on through treatment and such, as the one that I did for Bart, but you must have permission from the Ministry to do so. Faye says, is that why, Ellie? Satan says, there must be more to it than that. I don't know the reason, but Krellian is so absorbed by her data. Bart says, I don't care what the reason is. For now, let's help Ellie and get out of here fast. Billy says, you're right. If we mess up here, I put those guys who went to help Ellie's parents in danger. Billy says, Satan, we're going to Krellian's private research lab as planned. We'll meet up at the rendezvous point. Faye says, what about Doc? Satan says, there is still something left to be done. I will go destroy the last gate. Faye says, Doc, a sword? Satan says, yes, Yui gave it to me as I was leaving. I used to use it before I met her. For a long time I vowed not to use it for killing, though. But now is not the time to contemplate morals. It is not fair for me to be the only innocent one. Faye says, I see, but... Satan says, yes? Faye says, you're always so mischievous, Doc. Citan says, it's in my nature. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Bart says, yo, Citan, let me handle Faye and Ellie's situation. Now that the limiter's removed, Solaris doesn't stand a chance. Citan says, oh yes, by the way, young one, about the effects of removing the limiter. The results will not show up that quickly. Already your physical limiters have been removed naturally. That part I have removed is the psychological section. That is, the subconscious fear and veneration for the Ministry and the Emperor have been removed. Basically, you'll be able to battle against them without any fears or hesitations. It is not that you have suddenly become more powerful. Bart says, are you serious? My. Was it? Yeah, I don't know. Billy says, according to Citan, Krellian's private laboratory should be below us. Faye says, Ellie, are you okay? Ellie says, Faye, yes, I'm fine. Bart says, sorry to interrupt you two, but this is not the time for a heartfelt reunion. Billy says, quickly, this way. Jesse says, what took you so long? I've only got so many bullets. Hurry up and blow them away. Citan says, I'm sorry. I have other matters to attend to. Jesse says, what the hell are you doing? Citan says, to His Majesty. Jesse says, you mean the Emperor? Are you sure, Hyuga? Citan says, yes. His Majesty understands the situation. He says to leave it up to them. Citan says, there, it is done, sir. Jesse says, yes, we're out of here, huh? Ramses says, where is he? Hyuga. Citan says, Car? Ramses says, so you too, you are also betraying me. Citan says, Car, we are just in different situations. I did not mean to betray you. I decided to stick with Faye's group. Ramses says, did you say Faye? You two are on his side? I'll never forgive you. Never. Jesse says, Car, you're an enemy, but why are you so attached to one kid? You weren't like that before. Ramses says, shut up. I've got to get him with my own hands. And all of you working with him are my enemies. Enemies stealing my things. Enemies, enemies, enemies. Citan says, Car? Jesse says, hey, we're going. I don't know what went on, but I don't have time to deal with him now. Citan says, but? Jesse says, Hyuga. Citan says, I see. They leave and the final gate explodes. This would be the one that would completely uncloak Solaris and allow direct impact from outside. Ramses screams, you traitors. Emeralda says, oh, that's Faye. Faye's Kim is here. Ellie says, father, mother. Medina says, Ellie. Rico says, you should thank Hammer. Hammer got your parents at the right time, right, Hammer? Hammer says, yes, exactly. Ellie says, thank you, Hammer. Eric says, we'd like to thank you too. I never thought I'd see my daughter again. Thank you, Hammer. Citan says, listen everyone, we have no time to waste. Citan says, so that we do not stand out, we should split into two groups. Faye, you have done a lot, but I would like to have you move on ahead and take 2 more members with you. Move along southwest of here and cross 2 mobile contact bridges. There you will find a hangar that will lead to the outside. We will meet at the footbridge near there. If you talk to the blue memory cubes, you will be able to make contact with the other party members, and can thus switch which members you wish to have in your current party. Jesse says, I shut down alarms here and there when I was breaking gates, but it's still dangerous. Be careful. Eric says, I'll go to the hangar beforehand and arrange a ride for us. Solaris is in confusion now, so if I go alone, I can pull some strings. Citan says, okay, please do not overdo it. Eric says, yeah, I know. He continues, Ellie, Medina, see you again. Medina says, dear, please be careful. Ellie says, father. And Eric leaves. Alrighty. Looks like I'm free to mix this stuff up. Alrighty. Whoops. I think I need to get Ellie's gear stuff off there. Alright, I'm going to end this broadcast here, but I'll be right back on to do a little bit more in a sec once I start the upload. Let's